At this stage, most creators make a common mistake. They chase more views instead of understanding the viewers they already have. They focus on reach instead of connection, not realizing that growth without retention of audience is unstable, unpredictable, and often short-lived. Because a viewer doesn't subscribe just because your video was good, they subscribe because something about you, your content, your perspective, your delivery, made them feel like coming back would be worth it, like there's consistency, value, or identity they can rely on. And this is where your channel begins to transform from random uploads into a recognizable presence, where your style starts to matter, your tone becomes familiar, your structure feels consistent, and without even realizing it, you begin building a brand, not in a corporate sense, but in a psychological one. Viewers start forming expectations. They begin to associate your channel with a certain type of content, a certain experience, and if you meet those expectations consistently, they stay. But if your content feels scattered, unpredictable, disconnected, they watch, and then they leave. This is why clarity becomes powerful. Not just in individual videos, but across your entire channel, where someone can land on your content and instantly understand what you're about, what you offer, what they can expect if they subscribe. There comes a point in your journey where everything starts to feel different, not easier, not effortless, but more controlled, more intentional, like you're no longer reacting to YouTube. You're operating within it, understanding its rhythm, anticipating its patterns, and slowly stepping into a phase that most creators never reach: scaling. Because growth is one thing, but scaling is something else entirely. It's not just about getting more views, it's about handling more output, more expectations, more complexity, without losing the quality or identity that got you there in the first place. And this transition requires a completely different mindset. At this stage, randomness becomes your biggest enemy, because what worked in the beginning, experimenting, trying different ideas, uploading without structure, now starts to limit you, and if you don't evolve, your growth plateaus, not because you lack potential, but because you lack systems. So you begin building processes, repeatable workflows that turn chaos into structure, where content is no longer created impulsively but strategically, where ideas are planned, recorded, edited, and published through a system that reduces friction and increases consistency. Your thinking shifts from, "What video should I make today?" to "What content pipeline am I building?" A pipeline where each video serves a purpose, fits into a broader strategy, and contributes to a larger vision instead of existing in isolation. And this is where batching becomes powerful, recording multiple videos in one session, editing in focused blocks, planning content ahead of time, not to remove creativity, but to protect it, to ensure that your energy is spent on ideas and execution rather than constant decision-making. At the same time, you start recognizing the value of time as your most limited resource, and suddenly, every inefficiency becomes visible. Every delay, every unnecessary step, every moment of indecision, and optimizing your workflow becomes just as important as improving your content. And then comes a critical realization: you don't have to do everything alone, because as your channel grows, your role begins to shift from creator to operator, from doing everything yourself to managing a system that produces content consistently. Maybe you start outsourcing small tasks, editing, thumbnails, scripting assistance, not to replace your voice, but to amplify it, to free up your time so you can focus on what actually drives growth: ideas, strategy, and connection with your audience. But with this expansion comes a new kind of pressure. The pressure to maintain quality at scale, to ensure that as your output increases, your standards don't drop, your content doesn't become repetitive, your connection with the audience doesn't weaken. And this is where discipline evolves again. Not just personal discipline, but system discipline, where your processes are strong enough to support your growth, where your workflow can handle consistency without burnout, where your channel operates smoothly even when challenges arise. And in this phase, something powerful happens. You stop feeling overwhelmed by growth and start controlling it, shaping it, directing it, turning your channel from something that might work into something that is built to last, built to expand, built to evolve over time. Because in the end, scaling is not about doing more, it's about doing better, smarter, more intentionally. And once you reach this level, you're no longer just a creator trying to grow. You're building something that has the potential to sustain itself, to expand beyond you, and to become something far bigger than where it started. If you want, next is Part 11. Money, brand deals, and the real truth about earning from YouTube. In the same ultra-cinematic style. In the same ultra-cinematic,